It's all coming together right here now. It's all coming.
Bruce with We Are Change Colorado. We're out at United We Stand Fest in LA. Bumped into Sean Stone, and we figured we'd do a great little interview here. We got a couple questions. Sean, what inspired you to take action in your life and do something about everything going on in this world?
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't really feel like I am taking action. I feel like I'm just being me and speaking my truth and the opportunities that arise for me to, to speak, and utilizing the opportunities that came along. For example, conspiracy theory with Jesse Ventura was one venue where we got to explore and investigate certain topics, and that spun into Buzzsaw, which is the online news show where we do interviews on everything from politics to conspiracy, right, to occult history and spirituality. And so for me, I mean, my inclination is just more towards expanding my own knowledge and awareness, and trying to share that in that quest for knowledge and truth with others. And I don't even consider myself an activist in a sense. I just feel like, no, that's who I am. That's what that kind of resonates for me. And if people can be inspired by that, or find some commonality of purpose and ideas, then it's great to be able to have that kind of influence or effect. But again, it wasn't like I set out trying to change the world. I'm just trying to basically, first of all, understand what's going on here, and then maybe reflect something back based on my understanding.
So you spoke a little about seeking out knowledge and seeking out truths. What truth really sticks out as the one that really gets you going, really inspired you?
That the sky may not be blue. That all these perceptions that we think, our sense perceptions are real, and we base our assumptions off of sense perceptions. And if you don't come from a Platonic point of view about reality, which is to say, this is a cave, we have been hypnotized into believing, to trust our senses, and yet at the end of the day, it's ideas, in truth, that cause history. I've always been fascinated by history, so I look at history and I try to understand. There's moments when you can feel like there's either a zeitgeist that's coming, that's in the air, that people are craving, but then you also understand that there's oftentimes the great historical figures, leaders, shapers of those ideas, who are then influencing people. So it's not just out of nowhere that the change occurs. You have to have the idea, you have to voice the idea, or find some vehicle for it, and that's how history is shaped and made. So the truth is that you got to stop looking at things on a moment-to-moment empirical basis and start actually understanding there's a cause and effect. The more we can actually understand that, the more we can be calm in the midst of the apparent chaos that's around us, and understand who's creating the situation and why, the more we'll be able to have some kind of control over our own destiny.
So is there one issue that all of us can unify on, in your opinion? Is there anything that just really is the uniter?
But towards what end? You see, I would say that in the end, we have to understand that we're human beings. That you first of all have to ask yourself what you're doing on this planet. You're only here for a certain amount of years, and if you don't start off by asking yourself why you're here and what you have to offer, then you're wasting the opportunity of being here. You're wasting your breath. And from there, I would say that there is a commonality of purpose, perhaps, towards this, for example, utilizing the globalization phenomenon towards a positive end. The fact that we don't have to take the negative, destructive ends of what have been globalization, as far as the free market economics of it. The fact that we are living under systems of economics that are meant towards the impoverishment and degradation of mankind thus far. Doesn't mean that we have to live under that permanently. We can transform our conditions, we can transform our environment around us, but we have to first of all recognize our own powers as humans. And I think, to me, the beauty and the essence of a human being is our creativity. Every human being's creativity, and it's that that goes back to the purpose, meaning that you have a mind, use it. You use it, and everyone uses it. You don't have to go and paint a picture or write a book or make a movie to be creative. You go out there and you try to be an entrepreneur, or you approach technology or science or any aspect of life and do it with your own spirit and your own sense of what you have to what you have to offer that makes it unique, right? Intrinsically, you are a unique being, right? We have to remember that. We have to find that in each of us and inspire each of us to remember that we are creative. Because right now I feel like we're in a time period when people almost feel like superfluous, that they're just another number in a vast population, and this mythology of overpopulation, and humans are just, the mythology of overpopulation leads to an idea that humans are extraneous. You can kill off a few billion of them and there's no problem. It's horrible. It's genocidal. And I think most people live under that psychology, and as a result they hate themselves. They live destructive lives. They want to escape reality, and that's what you have with this modern culture that's oriented around drugs and alcohol and partying and everything to distract themselves from the obligation of, look, you were given life to be on this planet, whether you understand the why or not. Take advantage of it, and don't just live it up and say, carpe diem, seize the day for your own pleasure. It's not pain versus pleasure. It's actually having this birthright to create, and that is how you shape history. You create something that lasts. Whatever you do here, it's a great line from Gladiator. Everybody says, whatever you do echoes in eternity. It lasts forever.
That's really awesome. Last question I want to end on is just any words for people on how to live their life without letting go of that fear and apathy that a lot of us have gone through at some points in time when we uncovered some of these truths. Can you give some inspiring words to just living your life without that fear and apathy?
Yeah, I think that spirituality plays a major role in all of this. If you don't have a faith in a higher power, it's difficult oftentimes to let go of your apathy in the sense of, it's just, what's the point? It's nihilistic in a sense. God is dead, like Nietzsche said, right? So Nietzsche proclaimed the 20th century as a form of nihilism, world wars, and a will to power. It's only for human power, and you have to basically will your future into existence at the detriment of others, right? If survival of the fittest, Darwinism, all these concepts became predominant in the 20th century, and it's, I think, at the detriment of our souls, because what you gain oftentimes through your willpower at the expense of others comes back in different karmic forms, and does it does take its toll on your soul. So I would say, from a spiritual point of view, recognize that there is a higher power, and I think the more you tune into that, you don't have to call it God. You say the universe. There's many different names for it, right? But the idea is that there's something else guiding our purpose here on this planet. It's not an accident. There's a destiny. There's a higher purpose, and I think the more you can get in touch with that and find that within yourself, and find that sense of higher purpose, you will see the signs that are available to us at all times. The synchronicities, the things that are basically the doors that open every day, and oftentimes we ignore and we miss. So maybe it's just a spiritual revolution that needs to occur.
Sounds like a consciousness revolution, and that's what we're all about at We Are Change Colorado. This has been a really amazing interview. I really thank you for coming up into our room and at the United We Stand Fest in LA, and we'll be out there tomorrow, and it should be a great weekend. And so I really appreciate you doing this. Thanks a lot.